Okay. So I
Now
just
we're
told my
live.
whole life story. I just told my whole life story to you and nobody else. Okay, guys, in the chat, please let me apologize. Um, I screwed up. And maybe rather than give you all the gory details, I will just leave it at that and say thank goodness that you are patient and understanding and have hung in there because this is going to be a good one. So
Nope.
tonight we have Darcy from Darcy's Mixed Media for episode 14 of Heart to Heart. And let's first acknowledge who is here. And you can tell me, Darcy, if you know these people, because I know some of them, I'm sure you know the others. Okay, so we have PM Artist Studio. So
Know
that
them.
is probably Mariah,
Mariah. It's always Mariah.
Jenny Roberts Day.
Yep.
Is that
Hi,
one of
Jenny.
your
Hi,
peeps?
Mariah. Well, one of PM Artist Studios peeps.
Cookie Wookie?
Oh, they hi, Mo.
Okay, just a minute. Denise Gardner, Teresa DeFredo. These are my peeps. Let's see who else. Oh, and these people have been keeping themselves amused. Okay, Lydia,
They're good at that.
Lydia Granito. Is
Yeah,
that one of
Lydia.
your
Yep.
people? Okay, good. Hi, Lydia. Barbara Taylor.
That's my aunt.
And Auntie Barbara and Grandma are watching for I guess they mean for Darcy in Plymouth. Is that Maine?
Massachusetts. Mass.
Massachusetts. Okay. Little this and that, Jennifer.
Yep.
Okay. Um, let's see what
I'm
else we
afraid to
got.
say no to anybody now because it's like maybe they've watched me and I just don't realize it.
Yeah.
A lot of them are from
S
PM Artist Studio, Makers of Mixed Media Art and Artist Facebook group
yeah.
too.
Well, that's what I note. Okay, Amy Kreckman, that's somebody that I know. Hi, Amy. Tina Svanberg.
Hmm?
Svanberg, you know her?
Svanberg. I think she's in Sweden.
Svanberg. Oh, Svan. Okay. Presumably, we can almost get started here. Okay. So, if you didn't already hear me say so, and I hope Susie finds the this right thing. I screwed up. I had two lives scheduled, picked the wrong one, and of course, Darcy was having trouble signing in, and anyway, it wasn't good. Okay, so better late than never. Let us begin. Um, I'll tell you the story of how I became aware of Darcy's existence. Um, she, I don't know, blindfolded and hands tied behind her back or whatever, accidentally stumbled into my channel. Go figure. And watched a video or two or whatever and commented and subscribed. So naturally, I reciprocated. So in spring, now what happened here?
My phone turned off for some reason, and so now you
Okay.
got it back in, so we're
Yeah.
good.
Okay. Is there a full moon somewhere tonight or
I
what
don't
the
know.
Anyway, so I liked what I saw on Darcy's channel. So when I was putting together my Masterboard Madness for the month of March, I reached out to her, and unfortunately, she had already committed, and she was going to visit a relative, and my little tiny heart was so broken. Uh,
Oh,
However, when I was interviewing Jean, Lizzie Jean, Artistic Chaos, you tuned in and I invited you on the spot just through this method. So I'm glad that we're finally here and together. Okay, so I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like you're kind of a big shot. Are you a big shot?
no.
You put your pants on one leg at a time, just like the rest of the immortals.
Most days when I can stand on both legs. Yeah.
Okay, so obviously, if anyone has, tunes into Darcy's channel, one of the things that you will notice um or pick up on is the fact that she's got some health challenges. And again, I don't know, how much you want to get into that. I know that from a personal standpoint, I never want to define myself or anyone else by their disease or by their condition. However, I do think that there's something to be said for explaining kind of what your challenges are, in that it gives hope to others who may be dealing with the same thing. And if I picked up, like, of course, when a person is watching videos, you're never necessarily watching them in sequence. So it seems to me, unless I'm totally out to lunch, which is a distinct possibility, it seems to me that you just got a diagnosis of rheumatoid arthritis
Yes.
in
In
addition
April,
to
April.
osteoarthritis.
Yeah, the osteoarthritis was just a couple weeks ago.
Okay. Um, so, and I also gather that you have other autoimmune things that you're dealing with. Is that correct? Or
For
is
my son,
this,
I have type 2 diabetes and
oh,
high blood pressure are my other ones. My son has other autoimmune diseases. My
yes,
24-year-old, yeah.
I picked that up, and and he's obviously living under the same roof with you. So I um know that many of the people who are crafters, many of the people who are YouTubers also um have health challenges. Obviously, some are worse than others. And of course, being a YouTube celebrity is no insulation is no insulation against bad
No,
news and death
no,
and
it's not.
grief and disease and financial ruin or whatever. So we just try to soldier along. So what do you find works best for you to just keep
Um,
yourself moving forward?
I, I guess just to not do too much at one time. So I don't do as many videos as I used to. And when I do have the energy and that's not too painful, I make a video. And if I can make videos ahead, I do, but lately that hasn't happened.
Yeah,
And this past week, there's been more videos because this time of year I get an up. My energy is like way up. Like from like I feel I'm like a normal human being right now. Like the rest of the year, usually my energy is really low, and so now I'm like norm. I'm up to normal, which feels like a lot of energy to me, but it's probably just like a normal human being.
so so does that mean that the condition is affected by weather?
It can be, but this is like my normal ebb and flow every year. Like I have really
Okay,
low energy all the time, and then around fall when the weather starts cooling off, I just have a really up. My energy just like shoots up, and
yeah,
it's a little bit harder this year. Well, a few years ago it was hard because I had low iron anemia, and then finally that was back to normal. So last year was great. And then this year I've got the other thing, the chronic pain that I'm dealing with
yeah.
this time.
So uh, I'm not sure which part of the states you live in, but I just know, even for this Alberta kid, that if it's hot, it just saps one's energy, whether you've got any other conditions or not. So, um, that's obviously, unless you're prepared to move, that's something that I guess you have to deal with. It seems to me, though, like, well, and I don't know your whole origin story. So maybe you should begin at the beginning and tell us when you first got into, have you always been a crafty person? Where did you start? How did you, it sounds to me like this junk journal mixed media thing is fairly recent. Like, I mean, it's not like you've been doing it for 15 years or something.
I've always done something like when my boys were growing up, I would make like posters and flyers for the PTA and for our church. But I didn't have time to do much more than that. And so right around 2019 would have been when my youngest turned 19. And I just started trying to figure out me, basically. And I read The Artist's Way, got to chapter 8, found mixed media. Then my aunt told me about junk journaling. So then I started doing both of those things. And that was in 2019. And just kind of started there.
Yeah. Um, well, a couple of things. So the aunt that got you started, is that the one, Barb, who's in the chat
No,
here too?
no,
Oh,
My
somebody
aunt
different.
Marge, my aunt Marge, who
Okay.
lives up in Maine, is got me into it. And then I told my friend Heather, and that got her into junk journaling, and she wrote a whole book about it.
Well, okay. So I hope that somewhere in your house you've built a shrine to Aunt Marge because
Oh, she
it
wouldn't want
sounds
that.
like it's funny how for so many of us it seems like that time frame was, like the start of COVID,
Right
the
before COVID,
lockdown.
even. Yeah.
It
Yep.
it was we were all forced to keep ourselves amused and to go head first into YouTube and so on, and probably saved a lot of our souls by doing that. I did want to also say that we also have somebody called Griffin Shale. Griffin
That is
Shale.
Rhonda. She is another designer for PM Artist Studio.
Oh, okay. Hi, Rhonda. So one of the things that like I have a couple of standard questions that I always ask. So at some point I'm going to ask you this. Teresa, who is a faithful subscriber of mine, and I affectionately call her my agent, wasn't here last week. And she said, "You forgot to ask the purple question." So, based on the color of your hair, can we assume that you love purple?
It's blue.
Oh,
It's actually
oh,
blue.
well,
Purple's okay. Purple was my mom's favorite color, and it's my dad's favorite
okay.
color. It's
Okay, so
okay.
oh, oh well, okay. We we I won't end the interview here, but we do seem to have we have a disproportionate number of purple lovers in our midst usually.
Ah.
But the other more serious question, if there is such a thing, is would you consider yourself an introvert?
Mhm. I can be
So
extroverted when I need to, but it takes a lot out of me.
bingo, that's exactly that's to me that's the definition. That says it in a nutshell. Um, you know, I can do this for an hour and a half once a week. I can go to an outing and be, pretty coherent and nice and all of that. But honestly, it is very draining. So, um, because you are dealing with a bunch of pain and health issues, that I'm assuming that probably makes you a little more homebound than you might be otherwise. Is that true, or do you still?
I was pretty homebound probably because of perimenopause and the anxiety everything got compounded with that. So I was already pretty homebound. And now like
Yeah,
I just even more homebound, but I still try to get out. I probably get out almost as much as I used to. There's just some days that even if I want to, I can't. That's all.
yeah. Um, I think that if the people in the chat don't already subscribe to your channel, they should. And I think they should also check out some of the organizing and decluttering that you've been doing lately. I was thinking, oh my God, that woman, she's a brave, brave soul, because many of us are reluctant or unwilling to show our spaces, and even more so reluctant to show our butts. But yet, the way you position the way you position the camera in one of those videos, like I know
That was
you
unfortunate.
apologize for for your butt and so on, but I'm thinking, now that's a woman who, like, what you see is what you get. And honestly, I admire that quality in people. You know, being authentic, being real is, I think, um, the only genuine way to go through life.
I don't have the
You,
energy to be any other way. It
you
would
don't have the
take
energy to be a phony
too much
baloney.
energy and too much thought to try to remember who I'm trying to be. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I
or
just
who
have
you're
to be
trying to
me.
impress.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody.
So, from watching a couple of those videos, the organizing ones, I noticed that you really you hold a cast from Clutterbug in high regard, and seem to
Hmm.
have been, I remember going through her process when I became aware of her, and honestly, I can't remember what I am, but is a butterfly the one that needs to be able to see their stuff
See their
and have
stuff in
easy
broad
access?
categories. Yes. Yep.
Okay, yeah.
In my
Anyway,
studio, I'm a butterfly, but in my house, I'm a ladybug.
okay, split personality.
Well, this both broad categories need things easy to put away, but I like to hide things in my other part of my house. In my studio, I need to be able to
Yeah.
see everything, or I'll forget about it.
Okay, so let's just pause here for a minute and say hi to Sierra from Cooley Craft Corner, and to Gigi, and to, well, Jean, aka Lizzie Jean. And she put in there, everything is fine, totally fine. Well, I'll
I
tell you,
say
you
that a
don't
lot.
have to watch too many of your videos. So I wrote it down. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. And so I want to know, because, we do ask some probing questions here. Are you trying to convince us or yourself?
Me, obviously me.
Okay. Um, Obviously, that is a good positive mantra to have. And yeah, anyone who is going to be checking out Darcy's channel, watch for that and you will see it. And obviously, Jean is aware of that too. Was it also you in a recent video? I don't know if this was your quote or if you were quoting one of these either Cass or what is the other
Dana,
gal's name?
Dana.
Dana K.A. White, yeah.
Yes,
Because didn't you take part in her thing
I'm part of the
earlier?
Take Your House Back course. There's a paid course, Take Your House Back course, and I'm part of that group or part of that course. I
Okay. But
and that's
you weren't part of the group that did the thing,
not
the videos maybe
officially
in January or whatever?
that. Yeah. Oh, why can't I think of her name all of a sudden? Ca- Ca- Kara Brandon. She.
Oh,
No, I
yeah,
wasn't
she paired
officially.
up
I
with
did
some.
do a video, but I wasn't an official person.
Okay, so I remember seeing that one of yours as well. Okay, so who said this? You can have excuses or you can have successes. Is that one of your
That's actually,
lines?
you can have excuses or you can have results. I couldn't read it; it
Oh,
was going by too
results.
fast. Results, and that's Cass. Cass says that.
Okay. So that sounds like an attempt for some for us to claim a little bit of accountability.
Hmm. Yeah, she said it one day, and I wrote it down so that I would remember it.
Have it tattooed on your forearm, perhaps? No,
No,
no.
no.
I, in solidarity with you, I decided today that I'm going to do some stuff. I um I keep saying, and maybe this goes back to the excuses versus results thing. I keep saying, oh, I want to do more mixed media. Oh, I want to do more in my art journal. I say it, but I haven't been following through. And it irks me at cellular level when my words and my actions don't match. So I thought, okay, you know those rolly carts that we all have, like when rolly
Yes.
carts became a thing, and we all rushed out and bought a whole bunch of different quality, different price points, different versatility. I thought, okay, in honor of Darcy in this interview, I'm going to create an art crash cart. Call it a crash cart because, like at the hospital when they wheel in the
Yeah.
crash cart. So I did, and I'll probably do a video, an extra video on Saturday just to show what it is. But I'm thinking that half the battle is having our stuff available to us so that we don't need to move heaven and earth to find our stuff, carve out some time. How, like when you have the energy and you have the time and you're in your space, what is your approach? Like how do you get results?
I just start playing. I don't have any idea of what I'm gonna do when I start. Usually, I just if I'm gonna gel plate, I just start putting paint and just grab some paints from the cart, set them beside me, and start playing. Or sometimes I might have an idea of what I want to try, but I never know what my end result is going to be. I just try different things and it just all kind of gets created organically, I guess. I don't know how exactly to say. I don't know the word. Mariah,
Yeah.
what am I trying to say?
Well, and I guess that it seems to me that so are you telling me that you never did any painting or you never took an art class or whatever before this? You just found a gel plate and
My
that
last
was
art
that
class
was the
was
beginning of the
seventh
end.
grade or eighth grade. Eighth grade was my last art class because in high school you could do band or you could do art. You couldn't do both because they were at the same time. And
Okay.
and so I mean, but I've done some arty things because like I wish I had a picture of the posters, but I used to make posters like for the PTA or like we would have these. I know one time we did my pastor did a series on the books. Oh my goodness. Do you remember the movie or there were books? Oh, anyway, it's about end times and whatever. And so I did all these posters and they had the name of the sermon, but they looked like the front of those books, which I can't remember the name of the books. It's When the Rapture Comes in those books. Um, and so, but I don't have a picture of them, and that makes me really sad because they
Well,
were like
yeah,
my
because
most favorite things I ever made. They were like the coolest things.
well, yeah, and before everybody had a cell phone taking a picture of every single thing, including what's for breakfast, yeah, it just wasn't on one's radar to immortalize these things in
Right.
that way. Um, well, I mean, I think that all in itself should be very encouraging to anybody who thinks, well, I'm not an artist. I don't know what to do. I don't have a BFA or an MFA. I don't know, like I don't know, watercolor from acrylic or whatever. I think the underlying message that I get from you is just do it.
Yep.
Just play and and obviously your proficiency and your results improve the more you play, the more you do it. So, do you have some really ugly stuff from the early days that
I have ugly stuff that I make now. I'm like, I have like a box of things that I'm like, I need to add to these things, so I wouldn't want to put them out the way they are now. No,
Yeah.
I heard one time that it's the rule of threes. You're gonna love about a third of the stuff you make. And a third of the stuff you make is gonna be okay. And then a third of the stuff you make is you're gonna hate it. And that's about right.
So do you find, well, I guess I almost know the answer to this. So you do go back to those pieces, whether you created them last week or 5 years ago, that you don't care for.
I might, or I
Because,
might throw them away. I give myself permission to just let them go as well.
yeah. And so one of the things okay, let's just see what some of these people are saying. Best end times ever. Say, Darcy arting up the end times. And Junk Journal Joanne says natural talent. Oh, and did you say it's Rhonda who's Griffin
Yep,
Shale?
yep.
Okay, so she says, I would bet 90% of YouTube internet artists do not have a formal art degree. Well, and she may very well be right. Um, so what other than, well, I haven't asked this, so I shouldn't assume it. Is art and creativity um, a healing, therapeutic activity for you?
I think so. It's I can escape. It's an escape at least, and if I'm really into what I'm doing, I can really hyper focus. And so then I'm not thinking about anything else. I'm just really kind of in the zone when I'm doing it.
So I guess to extrapolate that a bit, you would be doing it even if you didn't have a channel, even if you didn't have, product out there. You'd be doing it just because it makes you feel better.
I think so,
Did
yeah.
I, um, and forgive my ignorance about rheumatoid arthritis, but what I've always considered, like with these hands, that all of us after probably the age of about 7 have the start of osteoarthritis, and that RA is the more crippling one and the more painful one. So is it, like, I noticed in one of the videos that you were saying that your hands and your body actually felt better. So is there a fine line between rest and working those muscles and joints to the point of not letting them seize up?
Not sure because it's rheumatoid arthritis, but technically it's not arthritis. It's an autoimmune disease, and it's systematic, and eventually will affect my kidneys and other different organs. And it's usually symmetrical, so it happens like if one hand hurts, the other hand's probably going to hurt. Like for me, it's settled in my hands and feet, so both my hands hurt, both my feet hurt. And then the osteoarthritis is probably a result of the rheumatoid arthritis, the damage that it has done, except in my ankle. I have it in my ankle, which is from an injury that I had.
Yeah.
Um, Now I forget what the question was.
Well, if there's a fine line between resting and movement.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay, so you want to move. That's good for you. But then also you're be tired, you're also, I was reading about it the other day too. So if I wake up in the morning and I'm stiff and it's hard to move. And so I move more, it gets a little bit easier. And then after I've been doing stuff, I usually need to rest because then I'm in pain from doing the things.
I Yeah, so I guess you're being forced to do what all of us should be doing, which is listening to our bodies.
Yeah, pretty much.
Um, of course, we know that Oprah had a long lasting show and a big global influence. One of the things that I remember her saying is that the universe tries to get our attention, and sometimes it'll do a little flick like this, and we don't get it, and we push on, or marry the same guy over and over again, or, do whatever, take the same job over and over again. That's not good for us. And then maybe we get one of these. And then eventually, when we still don't change or notice or whatever, that's sort of when the house falls down around us. So intellectually, I can know all that, but yet that doesn't stop me from not listening to what my body is saying. Like if my body's saying maybe don't slow stitch until 2 in the morning, so do you have an opinion on all of this? Like, have you always been tuned in to what your body is telling you to do or not do? Or have you had to learn the hard way?
I think I've pretty much been tuned into it as far as if I get tired, I rest. I'm not good at pushing through usually. I don't like pain. I don't like to be tired, and so I usually
Yeah,
do whatever I can do, and then I rest. I don't think I agree with what Oprah said, because a 5-year-old that's diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, there's nothing that he needs to learn from the universe
yeah,
at that point in time, or a 2-year-old.
yeah,
People are diagnosed
yeah,
with things so young that I
yeah,
don't think there's a correlation between the two.
yeah. No, I don't mean and maybe I didn't explain that well. She was talking about behavioral things, the things we're doing, not the things that kind of happen to us in terms of, genetic makeup and disease and so on. It was the things that are in our control, like, going week after week to a job that we hate, or, you know, whatever. Anyway, we've probably gone down a side trail that we shouldn't be going down. I want to say hi to Khadija and to Brenda
Hi.
and Daniela, who have appeared since we last looked. So, hi, guys. Thanks for being here. Um, so, I think many of us are, um, kind of driven in the sense that maybe we're list makers or we have goals and we want some progress. Maybe we want to end up with, so many subscribers, or we want to have so many videos, or we want to sell so many journals or digitals or whatever. Is the health thing, and again, I don't want this all to be about pain and conditions. Um, has the fact that so much of your daily activity is um, um, I don't want to say curtailed either, but is determined how much you can accomplish in a day is determined by the state of your health on a given day. Has it made you have to, number one, maybe not set goals, make to-do lists, and just sort of live in the moment? What a concept.
Probably, and I've been doing it for years because I had low iron anemia for about 3 years, and so I had no energy, and so I haven't made a list in years because if I make a list, it just depresses me. So I gave up a long time ago making lists and whatnot. I just try to do what I can do basically, and it's not as much as I should, and I try not to feel guilty about that. It's frustrating, but it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah. It does seem that when you're in the moment and you're making videos, because of course that's all we have access to is what you have taped and have out there. So nobody knows what process or what you're doing when you're not making a video. But it seems that when in those videos, it always seems like you're enjoying yourself. Is that
I do
that's
enjoy
really what's
myself.
happening?
And that's
Yeah.
where a lot
Okay.
of my energy goes into creating. The videos are kind of a side effect of what I'm doing. I just happen to be videoing what I'm doing, and and a lot of my energy goes into what I'm doing. So I don't, but it makes me so happy. So it's where I want my
Well, and
energy
we
to
do,
go.
yeah, and we do know that happiness, that if we have the ability to laugh, that tends to make people experience less pain and so on. It was Norman Cousins who figured that out many decades ago. Um, so tell us about, well, number one, what made you decide to do a YouTube channel in the first place, and how did you start out? Like, do you remember your first video?
I do remember my first video, and uh, I knew nothing. I just was like, I wanted to start a YouTube channel just because the same reason a lot of people do. I wanted to make some money. Honestly, I wanted to be able to stay at home and make some money, and I do make some money now, but it's just some money. And it took me 3 years to get my first 500 subscribers, so it was pretty quick. I was like, okay, I'm. This isn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. Um, but I just held on. And I didn't worry too much about the subscribers. I was like, I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun. There are some people out there that really enjoy watching me, and their comments basically kept me going.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's true for most of us. And I have to say that, like you, I thought, oh my goodness, will I ever get to the point? Like, for those of you who don't have a channel, there is a complicated formula. It's watch hours and subscribers and blah, blah, blah. But typically, the subscriber mark is 1,000. And I thought, oh my goodness. Well, and a person gets discouraged, and other YouTubers would say, oh, but once you get to 1,000, it's so much easier after that. And I'm thinking, no, haven't really noticed that.
It's only
But
easy if Barbara at 49 Dragonflies tells people about your channel. Then it's a little easier. I went from 1,000 to over 2,500 subscribers in like a couple months because during December, Barbara showed my channel on her channel during one of the busiest
oh,
times on her channel. Oh, I
oh,
was
that
like flying high.
well, and I guess that, well, that's a good lesson to all of us who sometimes wonder, oh my God, do I have time for another one of these daily challenges? Because it is a huge commitment to do that. I know I did Defember once, and I don't recall a shout out from Barbara from Austria. Anyway, oh yes, so Denise is saying that she loves Barbara and Louisa. And yeah, they
Hmm.
are, they are. I remember Barbara doing a video at one point, and I think she's been pretty transparent about some of her YouTube goals and so on. And she did some really shocking statistics about how few people actually ever get to 10,000 subscribers. Most people kind of languish at some number less than that, and it's just, I mean, it was pretty discouraging. But I think a lot of us have decided that we're going to do this whether anyone watches or not. And having people watch and get engaged is just a bonus. Um, so that was a lucky break for you, I have to say. It
It
seems to
was.
me you've had another lucky break that I'm incredibly curious about. Um, what can you tell us about your involvement with PM Artist Studios and how that all unfolded?
I mean, let's see, they were around 3,000 subscribers when I found them. And I started watching them probably about a month before the 3,000 subscriber giveaway, which I did win one of those, which was exciting. Um,
Oh, cool.
and I just felt like I really clicked with Mariah, especially, but also Patricia. I just felt they felt like home. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
when I got to meet Mariah and Patricia in person, they felt like family. It was It was really awesome. And so that's so
Okay,
I call
so
her.
for,
I call Mariah sis.
oh, okay, so for the people in the chat who might not know, PM Artist Studio is a mother and daughter combo, Patricia and Mariah, PM. And they do, in fact, I have this taped to my doohickey here. Of course, I can't get there very often, but on Sunday and Monday and Tuesday and Thursday, they do lives that get incredible numbers of people. And oh my goodness, if you think like, well, I don't know which is join us each week live. I don't know which is more okay, so that okay, so yeah, 10 a.m. on Sunday and Monday and 3 p.m. Tuesday and Thursday, and it's Central Time, right?
Yes.
Is that what that okay, so
Yes. Central Time.
um
Yes.
yeah. So anyway, you would not believe the chat. It's almost like, well, who's got time to watch what they're doing? If the chat is the entertainment. But I did the one I caught part off the other day was, and that might have been Sunday. And of course, with lives, it's kind of a little difficult when you know, jump in midstream. You don't really know you didn't hear the introduction or whatever. Um, but I was glad to see that there was it looked like a grungy mini journal that Patricia was working on, and maybe playing around with some assemblage as well. Was that part of that?
Most. I don't remember that. They just went to an in person event, and that's where they started those little journals that she was working on.
Okay. Oh yeah, and of course Eddie is a personality all on his own.
That's
I
my brother.
did for those of yeah, who needs real siblings when you've got YouTube relatives, eh? Um, I did reach out because even in during Jean's heart to heart, it was the same thing. Eddie showed up, and I thought, well, my tagline is real conversation with real women, but hey, for Eddie, I would make the exception. So sometimes it's hard to nail down people's email addresses. So I've reached out to him through a comment and reminded him about it the other day. So hopefully, one day soon we'll have some testosterone here to talk about. He just sounds so funny.
Yeah, he is.
Um, and it seems like that chat group is so tight and so supportive.
But not exclusive.
Agreed?
Like anyone new that comes in, we welcome with open arms. So
Okay, well, that's reassuring because sometimes some chats do feel a bit clicky, to be honest. Okay, so but you left out the exciting part about the relationship with PM Artist
uh,
Studios.
that I am get to design stamps and stencils. That part.
Yeah, that would be it.
I started that what October 2 years or so. This October I think will be 2 years. Is it 2 years or 3 years? I don't remember. I can't remember exactly, but started around October. It's like Carrie was the first. Carrie Griffiths, aka Carrie the Crafter.
Yes.
He was the first, well, he was the first official because I think that Christy Hartman or Rhonda, one of them had a leaf that Mariah really liked, and they were like, "Hey, could we use that leaf?" And then I think that's where it started growing too,
Uh-huh.
where they started getting more and more people involved in being designers until it was like,
Somebody,
"Okay, we got to stop now. We've got enough."
okay, Mariah is saying no, Fran.
Oh, it was Fran was the first
Fran.
one. Oh, because Fran would make her own stencils. Um, See, I don't even know the whole backstory.
So what is Fran's handle?
Fran Baker. I think she's just
Fran
Fran Baker.
Baker. Okay.
But you can
Okay.
go to PM Artist Studio website and search Fran and see what hers are. She has a quirky unique style, which is really fun and cool.
So that must have been incredibly
That's
validating
okay.
to you to get well, to be in that sort of company. Like Kerry Griffiths is no slouch.
No,
So
he's
to
not.
be in the same company as him, I think, and to have somebody, wanting your designs and oh, you started in February 2024,
Okay.
says Mariah. So looks like you need to
She
be
has it
celebrating an
probably. She
anniversary
probably
or something.
knows when like the first squirrel came. The squirrel's the second one. I think somebody asked for music, and that was probably. I can't remember if the squirrels were first or the music instruments were first, but they were the first ones that I made. October
Um,
2022. Ha ha.
oh, oh, so
It was October
okay. And I thought
2022.
I did see something here about a squirrel.
Yeah, the
Of course.
was one of the first ones I made was were the squirrel masks.
Okay. So it sounds like everybody needs to be going to PM Artist Studio and checking out not only what you have done, but some of these other people that you're now rubbing shoulders with in the chat. Um, the video that I saw the other day, and again, I have no idea if it's recent or if it's old, because sometimes they just come up in in some sort of
Mm-hmm.
random order. But you had, I think, a set of six botanical looking ones,
Mm-hmm. Those
and
are
you were
last
doing,
month's July.
okay,
That was July's release, stamp release.
okay. So your obligation then is to keep creating something new
It
every month.
it helps. If I want people to buy the things I made that I've designed, then I need to show them so they know that it's there, and if they want it, they can go find it.
Yeah. But I guess what I'm asking is that sort of a contractual thing, or is PM Artist Studio happy to wait until, the muse visits you if it's only, twice a year? Or do you have to,
It's strongly encouraged,
yeah, I guess to keep
but not everybody
momentum and
has a YouTube
awareness going?
channel, right?
Yeah,
Not all the
of
designers
course.
have a YouTube channel, but they try to promote themselves the best they can, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook. And
Yeah,
then we try to also support each other by using each other's designs as well.
yeah. Well, and it is about product awareness for sure. And now with AI having changed so many things, it seems like when I was binge watching anyone and everyone that I was aware of back in COVID days, COVID lockdown days, it seemed that some of the big names in the junk journaling business, especially those in the digital marketplace, were they were constantly doing projects showing their own thing because obviously it's a marketing tool, but it also helps people at home who maybe can't think of, well, what would I do with that, unless they kind of see it being used. So well, I think that's a feather in your cap, my dear,
Thank you.
to be a designer. And obviously, we all need to go and check that out. So, how you kind of skipped over that? Oh, Eddie is here.
Yeah.
Oh,
Were your ears
hello,
burning,
Eddie.
Eddie?
um, Eddie, our king. I think maybe people will, I don't know, do they bow or curtsy or like what's the usual? Um, Eddie, if you send me an email, we can actually inject some testosterone into these heart-to-heart talks. Just saying. And somebody has just said goodbye. Is that who's Mo?
Oh, Cookie Wookie.
Cookie
She's one
Wookie.
of
Okay.
the moderators on
Um,
PM Artist Studio too. Yeah.
and I found when I stopped in on Sunday that there's a Paula that was very gracious and funny.
She's one of the designers.
Okay, yeah. Is she in Scotland or somewhere? In Europe somewhere?
Ne- I want to say the Netherlands,
Okay. I applied
and
during
she's the
COVID.
queen of the nerds.
Oh, um, okay. Eddie says he replied to my comment on my video with my email. Okay, I will search that down, but is everyone with a YouTube channel as PO'd as I am that now YouTube has decided not to share comments with our email addresses like it used to be, that if you commented or replied to a comment that I made, I would see it in my Gmail account under social. So that stopped appearing. So
I didn't even notice
it
that.
basic it basically grinds the conversation to a halt. I mean, obviously they still appear in our YouTube studio, but I don't think the back and forth shows up there, to be honest, and I'm ticked off.
I
But
usually get a notification at the top of my phone. I don't have it come to my email, so I don't know. But I
well,
have
yeah,
notifications
it
turned
was
on, so they come at the top. Yeah.
maybe I have to allow that, but it was, yeah. I asked Dr. Google, and that's what he said. Okay, so okay, I wanted to pick up on something that you said way back when, which was you discovered Julia Cameron's The Artist's Way. Is that not one of the best books that you have ever encountered?
I wouldn't say it was the best book I ever encountered. And actually, technically, I never
One
finished
of,
it. I only got to chapter 8 because then I found what I wanted to do and just left her in the dust. I mean,
um,
it was what got me started doing mixed media and helped me to get past the okay, I'm a mother and a wife, but now my kids are grown up, so now what am I? Kind of a deal.
well, I don't know that it's the best book I've ever owned, but it's definitely among the top three, let's say. And for those of you who don't know, Julia Cameron is, and I don't know, I haven't checked lately. She's still alive. I did see
I
her
haven't
live
heard this.
one time, and she was getting very frail. She
Oh,
was
okay.
married to Martin Scorsese. She
Oh, I didn't know that.
has a number of books to her credit, is a composer as well, blah, blah, blah. And basically, I quote her often because she talks about artist dates, which we should all be doing, where we go on solo expeditions out wherever, whether it's our yard or a fabric store or an art gallery or wherever out there in the
The
world,
thrift store is my
by,
favorite.
by ourselves to replenish our creative juices. So it's not a group activity. It's just us and our five senses. And I think that's awesome. I also did her morning pages for several years, which is again for anyone who might not know, 3 pages of handwritten stream of consciousness first thing in the morning. So that is obviously one of the other things that she's known for. Her whole idea is that we're all creative, and she describes an artist as anyone from, a fine artist to a singer, musician, dancer, whatever format it might take. And that we need to sort of be true to ourselves and just keep doing what we're doing. Um,
I will be forever grateful for the path that she led me to.
Yes. And I think that she did come to the city nearest where I live, and hundreds of people came. She was cordoned off. No one could get near her because she did look very frail. But there were, of course, opportunities for people to question her from the floor, and I just feel better having been in the room with her. Really, her books, and you can find them at thrift stores now. um, do yourself a favor and read The Artist's Way. Now, you said the T word, thrifting. So, do you love to thrift?
I do a little too much. I've
Okay.
gotten better at not buying all the things because the problem with thrift store shopping is you get FOMO, you get fear of missing out. It's only going to be there this one time. It's probably not going to be there the next time you go. So
Oh,
you
yeah.
like feel like you have to buy it, or there might be like two stamps in this like bundle of plastic bag of little
Oh,
crappy stuff, and you like buy the whole thing just for the two that you want. But that is where I found the onion skin paper, which is the first thing, one of
mm,
the things that like connected Mariah and Patricia and I is I sent some of that onion skin paper for Patricia, and then Mariah sent me a couple stencils in trade.
well, well,
So
well. A case
so
of
thrifting
happy
brought me the
mail.
PM Artist Studio people.
um, yeah, I hate that marketing strategy of putting one good thing in with a whole bunch of crap. Yeah. And some of us, as crappy as it might be, still can't seem to let it go. Like, honestly, it's crazy. Um, Mariah says that you're still saving it. So are you still hoarding the onion skin paper?
I have some, yeah.
Or what it
But Patricia is also hoarded, like, well, when if she can find it. But Patricia like wasn't using a lot of it either. And if I ever find it
yeah.
again, I'll send them some more. I mean, it was a box of onion skin paper for like $1.99. It was unheard of.
um, and that is what we live for. Those
Hmm.
incredible unicorn type deals. And
Yep,
especially if
exactly.
there's enough that you can safely use some, safely hoard some, safely share some, then,
Yep.
it's like the best of both worlds. Um, okay, so that's obviously number one. Any other real scores that you want to tell us about and make us a little sick?
I'm usually I have some hauls where I show stuff. I've been to there's some antique stores that I found some really cool stuff at. When I was traveling more, like in the end of 2019, I was doing a lot of therapy shopping because I was traveling up to
Um,
Massachusetts and Maine because my brother had been diagnosed with kidney cancer and my grandpa had just passed away. And so I was traveling up that way because my grandma lives in Massachusetts, my brother lives in Maine. So I was like, back and forth between those two places and home. And they have good antique stores up there. And so I was doing a lot of shopping, and that was before I knew I didn't know what my style was. I didn't really know where I was going with everything. I just knew what I had been watching on YouTube, and everyone was using vintage stuff and all the things. I was like, oh, I'm going to sell it on Etsy and I'm going to buy all this stuff. And it felt really good to find it, and it felt really good to buy it because that's like a whole other hobby right there. Just going and finding the stuff. And then, reality hit, and I'm like, I don't like having to take pictures of things and write about them. And so it just all accumulated. Um, so that didn't work out great for me. But at the time when I was doing the shopping, it felt really great, and I was finding what I thought were good deals, and it just was a lot
yeah.
of fun.
Well, and as I was watching videos in preparation for today, that is one of the things that I also wrote down in one of those videos, one of those decluttering or cleaning videos. you talked about Etsy and you talked about how listing is such a pain in the butt and that it's not as easy to sell as we all think it is. And I mean, it's like you were speaking directly to me because even though I have loved paper and have been a creative person all my life, everything got amped up during this fall into journal making. And again, we were captive. We were watching all these YouTube videos and we saw all these people using all this cool stuff. Now, I live in Alberta, which is sort of next to British Columbia, so more the western part of the continent. It's a young part of the continent. We just the province celebrated its 100th anniversary in 2005, whereas the eastern part of the continent is a few hundred years old. So naturally, they've got the better, older stuff. So, it's like we're on this hunt for something that doesn't even exist in our part of the world. And it's kind of a useless endeavor to do that. Of course, we get a little more experienced. Sometimes we get happy mail. Sometimes we're lucky enough to meet a fellow YouTuber or fellow creative who is willing to share. I remember that I discovered that Lorna Taylor from Tailor Made Journals lives about an hour away from where I do. And I bought something from her, and because I'm inherently cheap, I said, I don't want to spend $20 on shipping. Can't I just come and pick it up? Can't I just spend $25 on fuel and pick it up?
There's an adventure in that, though.
So we met, and she gave me my first pieces of ledger. I still have them because I'm not about to tear into that, even though I have successfully bought ledgers on my own since then. So it's kind of like, I don't know, is it mental illness or is it, or what is it?
I don't know. I don't know. But I'm trying to learn to not save the special things. I'm trying to learn to use them. I'm possibly because I know that life is short, and the reality of that is starting to hit me fairly hard.
And you're younger than I am, kiddo. So, um, I think in the What's in a Name video that's on my channel, I talked about seeing this woman she had a talk show, Canadian talk show. This is decades ago. And she had a guest on there, and of course, everybody's always promoting something or other. He must have done his research and determined how old she was. So at some point during the interview, he brings out this piece of yarn that represented her lifespan, the average Canadian woman's lifespan in inches. So I think it's about 84 or something. So he had this piece of, say, 84-inch yarn, and then he lopped off a chunk that represented her age. And I thought, OMG, how long is my string and how long is the piece that's left? A visual like that does not go away ever, ever.
Hmm.
So people, get a piece of yarn and see how many inches of yarn you might have left if you're lucky.
And use your stuff.
Okay, use your stuff. And even, a big girl like Pam from the Paper Outpost, use up your pretties. Use
Hmm.
up your pretties. I'm trying to get better at that, but it is an ongoing struggle, just as it is a struggle to not stop at every thrift show I encounter. Um, I think that I gravitate to your channel because you have I think, correct me if I'm wrong, a self-deprecating sense of humor. You use a little, and I think a little sarcasm goes a long way, and I love it. So you say things like, let's overthink it. I've been known to
Well,
say, well, the future of the world rests on this decision. So let's just take our time here. So I think that we have sort of the same kind of thing going on up here that I don't know, maybe that's a coping mechanism of some kind that we just need to poke a little fun at ourselves. Um
I like to think I inherited it. I have a lot of uncles.
yeah. So you um you talked about well, I know that you take part in a fair number of challenges. So are you is that just again, given that sometimes it's hard for you to create, is that just a support? Is that a reciprocation support activity that you do for fellow creatives?
A lot of
Or
times,
like
yeah.
I know, yeah, you were talking about doing something that again, Carrie the Crafter has. It was an open collab, so I guess, or a challenge. It was not that you had an obligation or anything, but it just I
But
feel
it
that
did
too.
lead
And of
to a bigger challenge with Carrie, a one-on-one challenge, which was really fun to do. Oh, you missed that video?
again, I missed that video.
It's the
Obviously rubbing
hashtag
shoulders.
10-page challenge. You'll have to check it out.
10-page challenge.
Yep.
Um, Now again, I realize it's hard for you to plan, and you've already said that you don't make lists and so on. Have you ever created a challenge, or do you have any and a hashtag? Do you have any plans like that in the future?
I've created several that never happened, and then last December I did do an December Christmas one, just some prompts if
Okay.
anybody wanted to do it. And then I also was able to like get people together and other people did the videos too. So that was kind of fun. But I'm not good at that because about 2 weeks in, I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. But I had to keep doing it because it was my challenge. So so I learned my lesson there. I'm like, I'm just gonna do other people's things. And if I drop out, it's not that big a deal.
Well, and you're only committed to doing one day,
Right,
probably one video.
right.
Okay, so Eddie says sarcastic uncles are the best. Okay, good.
Yes, I do have an
Um,
Uncle Bob. My father's brother's name is Bob. Somebody asked me if I have an Uncle Bob, and yeah, I do.
okay, so Mariah's saying ready to ramp up creative collab. So do you want to talk about that?
I don't know.
Creative.
Uh, I think she's just being silly.
Okay. Is she pulling your chain, perhaps? Um, so do you, and again, I realize that, for most of us, the money is going out a lot faster than it's coming in because number one, we've already covered the thrifting thing. Plus, if we have maybe some desire to keep buying art supplies or tools or whatever, I'm pretty good at avoiding that, to be honest. Um, but we've already established that selling on Etsy is not that easy. It takes a long time to get monetized on YouTube. Um, so do you find that there is um that you're having, because you have a product to sell, so to speak, that you that there's a fine line between teaching and selling? Is it a bit awkward sometimes, or have you just or you or do you just take the approach that I'm doing my viewers a favor by telling them what this is and where to find it? if they so
It
choose.
depends what we're talking about. Like for the stamps and stencils, I have no problem promoting those because it helps other people too. But for like the things that I make, the journals and ephemera and stuff like that, that I create myself, I struggle promoting that. And I have tons of it to sell, but and I do sell some of it. My friend Cheryl at the Whole Bucket, she does a live sale the first Tuesday of each month, and so I send her stuff. She sells through there, and I have a Ko-fi store for digitals. I mean, a few sell here and there, and I have some people that support me monthly, which is really sweet. Um, and I've sold physical stuff in there too, but then you have to list it, you have to manage it, you have to know where it is when people do order it. It's just a whole
I know,
difficult
pain in the
thing.
butt, a huge thing. Um, so I haven't looked at your shop. I haven't looked at your coffee shop, which bad girl.
It's
Can
fine.
you tell me, is this whole movement to AI affecting you at all? Like in terms of digital creations or any
I
other
mean,
creations for that matter?
I've probably used some AI stuff in my things because I license images and then I use those in some of the digitals that I make, but usually the backgrounds and whatnot not are like layered bits that are like my original artwork plus some things I've licensed, and it's just kind of all layered in there. And I have no doubt that some of the things I've licensed are AI. Um, because the people that are selling them in the places where I'm procuring them have got them from AI. Uh, for that, I mean, I don't know. For other things, like I don't want to, I wouldn't want to have the entire digital be AI and nothing of myself in it. That I
Yeah,
wouldn't want to do.
yeah.
But I have used some. I don't know. I don't have a huge opinion on AI. I think it'll die out at some point. It'll kind of ruin itself
Mhm.
with its seven
Well,
fingers
I
and
yeah, it's probably like, I like to use a pendulum analogy that things go too far in one direction and then there's a backlash to them. And then people think, well, a human being didn't create that. I want something real, like the result of someone's innate talent, effort,
hmm
blood, sweat, and tears, so to speak. So I kind of hope you're right about that. Obviously, there are some good aspects to it, I suppose. Um, Kids don't have to photocopy pages out of an encyclopedia anymore to write a term paper. They can just they can get the whole damn thing written. But yeah, I think it's going to be bad before it gets better. It's going to be an issue. And I think potentially, although there has always been a degree of fraud going on with people, manufacturers stealing, making small changes, whether it's stencils or stamps or paper designs or digital products or whatever. Um, and essentially, like it's copyright infringement, really. So this is just a more sneaky way to do it, perhaps, in a
oh,
sense.
probably, yeah.
Yeah. Um, so what might you, again, I realize you're not a list maker, but what
I
aspirations do you have?
sometimes will make lists. It's not like I never make lists. It's just that I then lose
Okay,
them and forget about them.
yeah, but bread, milk, and eggs does not a list make.
Those lists I make, yeah. But besides, like I'll make lists of ideas of what I want to do for videos, and then I'll never look at it again. So,
Yeah,
I mean, I make
yeah,
lists, but it's more like a brain dump.
yeah. So what aspirations do you have for your channel, for your art practice? This is a big question, so you can give a big answer because it's multifaceted. So for your channel, for your art practice, for your space itself, like, and just feel free to just Do a brain dump and tell us.
I mean, if I knew, like, I'm a big go with the flow kind of a person. And so, like, whatever's
Okay.
happening at the time, I'm often, I will hyper focus on something. So I'm doing what it is that I really am in the mood to do. Like, I think it was last year or maybe the year before where I was like really into blue books. And there was probably like a month or so where that's all I wanted to do. And of course, now I have all the magazines and cutouts because I stopped doing that for a while. Or if I'm in the mood to do journal covers, I do journal covers. So I go in spurts of whatever it is I want to do. And eventually it culminates into like a journal or something like that, when I feel like actually putting it together. As far as well, I'll start with my space because my space is really important for me right now to get in control where I can move about and find things and not have so much stuff, because all the stuff that I have to manage is another stress on my mind, on my body, and I'm trying to reduce the stress so that I can be free to play and just feel freer when I do come down and play. And then for my art practice, I and for my channel, they're kind of both the same. Like if I don't do art practice, I don't have a channel. um, I could do art practice without the channel, but I'll just keep recording what I'm doing, and whatever I'm doing, you guys get to see. I'd like to get more into mixed media and just, I like doing the bases. I like doing like the backgrounds, the gel plate prints and stuff like that. And then if those sell, like Cheryl sold a whole bunch of my gel plate prints the other week, which felt really good, which made me want to make more gel plate prints so that she could sell them in her shop. So it's when other people get excited about something I've made, it makes it a lot easier to want to make more of that. Um,
Yeah.
but then there's some things that I just really like to make myself, and if no one likes them, oh well, I like them, and I had fun playing with them. To me, art is not just what you created, but it's how you feel and what you're doing as you're creating it. Like that's the art for me, is the creating. Um, that's just my opinion.
Yeah. Well, and that's totally valid because, as you said earlier, we don't always get the result. We don't know what results we want, and we don't always get the results that we're happy with anyway. So let's at least enjoy the process, if nothing else, if we're not so happy with how it turns out. I also firmly believe that it's that as we grow and develop and our proficiency gets better and so on, we can go back and salvage some of those earlier things that maybe we didn't have the skill set to fix back in the day. And there's also such a thing as tearing it up for collage fodder.
I
God
do a lot
knows
of
I
that.
have some watercolor paintings that need to be torn up because, it's how many years later. And it's not they're not going to fix themselves, let's just say that. Um okay, Trudy is here and she's happy to have, she says, oh, the PM artist studio is here. So you've got a fan in Trudy from Tucker and Tulip Designs. And actually, Trudy is going to be interviewed at the end of this month.
Oh,
Um,
excellent.
yeah. So, your space, your channel, your art practice. So I think, like, I always feel like, and maybe it's just the way my head works, and hopefully the audience appreciates it too. When I try to to pick out the sort of the message, the takeaway. So I think what I want to take away from this time with you has been, um time's a wasting. We don't know how long we have, uh, the health and the life, honestly, to do what we want to do. So let's not put stuff off forever. thinking, oh, when I retire, when I lose 10 pounds, when I get the divorce, whatever, when the kids leave home, that's when I will look after me. That's when I will find my creative soul. So don't do that. Get on with it. The other thing I think is maybe not so much art related as just health and well-being related is we need to listen to our bodies. We need to rest when we're tired. We need to play when we need to play, and we need to have some sort of balance. And as much as it might be a good thing to set some goals or chase some dreams, sometimes just being joyful in the moment is maybe the biggest payoff that we can hope for. And honestly, there aren't going to be too many of us that are going to get the 150,000 subscribers and are going to become mega stars out there. So we kind of maybe need to value the relationships we're building more than the even though it is a numbers game, like that's secondary. Um and
It's about that one person who's watched me do a declutter video and was then motivated to do their own studio and just feels better about their space. If only one person did that, it's worth putting out those videos. You know,
and
it's
and
you know,
and 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 what about me creating my art crash cart just because of
yeah,
you, in solidarity with you? And the next miracle that's going to happen is I'm going to pull out my gel plate because
awesome.
you and so many of the people, well, so many YouTube creators are getting such awesome results that some of my early attempts seem pretty elementary, shall we say, or pretty basic.
Hey, maybe that was
Um
what you were going for.
that's my story and I'm sticking with it.
It's a
There's
style.
also the beauty but there's also the beauty of layering. And I can't help but notice that you're doing a fair bit of squirming. So am I going to we didn't have
That's
time to discuss a safe word
no,
before we
no, no.
started.
I'm fine. That's how I
So
am. I can't help it.
okay, so it's not that you're in excruciating pain and we want to
No,
go like this. Okay. Well, that's a good thing.
I just
We
can't sit
will be
still.
we will be winding up pretty soon though. Um yeah, and of course, I've tried my hand at carving some of my own stamps. But of course, doing those linoleum things, especially if they're thrifted and they're as hard as this desktop, crap. Um, so I use erasers, but of course, that's a pretty tiny little thing.
Yeah, it's
But
pretty.
I take so much pleasure in knowing that this is mine and I can do what I want with it. I can scan it. It can become a background. It can be, um, it can be something. And I guess the only caution that I would have for people out there is to remember that if you have used anything that was created by anyone else, whether it's the lovely Darcy or anyone else, you don't have the rights to that design anymore or to what you create using it. So use your own stuff is part of the message there. If you have aspirations of creating digitals and that sort of
Or
thing.
sometimes just ask. Because sometimes the creator, the designer will be okay with you using it in something if you ask and give credit. But it's just, it's good to ask
Yeah.
first.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's great. And that's a good thing to know because I think sometimes we think, well, I'm just, I'm here in my little old studio on a farm in northern Alberta. So, like, uh, why would little old me ask somebody and why would they say yes? Why would they even answer me? But it's good to know that, as we said in the beginning, you do put your pants on one leg at a time. So, You're very real, and I appreciate that. Um, give credit, find out. Okay, so Mariah is also saying, give credit, find out about the angel policy. So are you able to explain that?
Sadly, no, but it would be on their
Oh,
website,
okay,
pmartiststudio.com. It is a little bit
okay,
more forgiving than, say, Ranger Ink would be. It's a little bit
okay,
more generous than some other places,
okay,
and way more
yeah,
generous than like Stampin' Up.
okay.
They are very
Uh,
tight-fisted on their designs.
well, and they are also the ones that we get in those grab bags that are so
Right? There's a thrift store all over the place. Yes.
useless. Honestly, honestly, I could build a little room with all the ones that I have that I don't like. And anyway, that's another thing. Oh, and Mariah is saying that it is on the website. And Eddie is saying, call them out, girl. Okay, so Trudy is saying, Darcy, I've been a fan of yours too. I'm sorry, I'm a quiet watcher. And I think she means, and not too good at commenting. I'm trying to be better.
That's
And I
okay.
think,
I appreciate the watching.
yeah. Yeah, but I also think that we can all do better. It is difficult when we watch somebody on a smart TV, because of course you can't comment on TV. But yeah, those things matter. They warm the cockles of our heart, and God knows YouTube loves them,
They help us
allegedly.
keep going.
And thumbsies upsies.
Yes.
Yeah, that always helps too. Um, so I don't think I asked you, and maybe you don't even want to say, what part of the country do you live in?
Right now, I live in Northern Virginia. I grew up in
Northern.
Massachusetts.
Okay.
I'm about 30 minutes south of
Well,
DC.
okay. Oh, and Teresa is saying you make amazing friendships by commenting, and that is so true. And that is especially if you're willing to give a little bit of yourself. Like, um, don't use the AI generated comments. Say something real, and we will respond in real time, in a real way. The other thing that I didn't um pick up on or follow up on is you said that you managed to meet these gals from PM Artist Studio in person. How did you swing that?
They were at a retreat in Baltimore, Maryland, so I drove up and had lunch with Mariah, and then spent a lot of the afternoon just hanging out at the retreat area and met all the ladies there, and even learned some really cool techniques that I then brought to my videos.
That's awesome. Uh, I think that for most of us, we've established that we are introverts. So we are just quietly at home doing our thing. We get a lot of warm fuzzies from comments, but it is so, so special when we get to meet a like-minded person in person. Maybe swap some goodies, maybe exchange a hug, share a meal, whatever. And just to know that someone gets us and accepts us for who we are, maybe weirdo, thrift shopper, solitary soul. Um, I don't often ask people how much support or not they get from their loved ones. Does your family understand what you're doing and why? Do they support you in it, or do they think you're
um,
nuts?
Somewhere in the middle. Like, they don't come and bug me when I'm recording, which I'm thankful for. I think
Yeah.
my biggest family supporter are probably my aunt that got me into the junk journaling. Her name is Margie, and my auntie Barb, who I've gotten to see more in the past few years, because I go up to give her some respite because she's the caregiver for my grandma. And I'm just really
Oh,
thankful that I realized she needed that because I've got to go spend so much more time with them. When I was growing up, we would go visit my grandparents, and that was probably the one place where I didn't mask, where I
mm,
felt myself. You know what I mean? I know that
yeah.
because on the way home, my mom would say, "You were so obnoxious," because it was the one place I could be myself.
And honestly, don't we all need that? Whether we're a little kid or when or whether we're a woman of a certain age, we still want to create rapport and we still want to know that someone understands us. And I think for many of us, sometimes the ones nearest and dearest to us do not understand what we're doing or why. Um, if depending on the relationship, like you say, um, we don't get interfered with, and we do get a certain amount of support. But honestly, um, I think it's pretty inexplicable behavior for most of us. And yeah, weirdos. We're all
Yeah, well,
weird.
my younger son, he wants to do a YouTube channel, but he just is too much of a perfectionist and doesn't ever do it because if he can't do it perfect, then he won't do it. So he
Yeah,
gets it.
well, and perfectionism is not what it's cracked up to be. In fact, a little bit of trivia here. It's part of a mental disorder called generalized anxiety disorder. It's one of the things grouped under that umbrella term. So yeah, you don't want that. That's not to aim for. Um, the one thing that I really that really resonated with me when I stepped into the PM chat room on Sunday was how all these people from wherever they were in the world, people I don't know, were all singing the same tune about introverts. And I thought, holy cow. Um, it's truly a blessing, I think, that we can be introverts and get that sort of laugh, pat on the back, thumbs up, whatever, stroke from strangers around the world. People who understand and feel exactly the same way. I don't know who invented the term peoply. It's too peoply out there.
Well, now I know why I could never find my friends when the years and years I was like I didn't feel like I could find friends near me. It's because they were all over the world. They just weren't living near me. All my people.
Yeah.
There's certain people that are my people, and then there's also the two people outside. Yes.
Oh, so Trudy is saying Johnny, I'm assuming that might be a husband, was cutting boxes down and I wanted the pieces. He gets it, so he was hiding them from her. Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, yeah. Do we need an intervention or do we need support? Um, okay, so Jennifer wants to know how have you how have you changed as you have developed your artistic life?
How have I changed? Well, I have let go of perfectionism a lot because I also am one of those people that if I can't do it perfectly, I won't do it at all. So I'm embracing imperfection and and not caring what other people think. And that comes with age too, that not caring what
Yes.
other people think.
Yeah. That's just what I was going to say. We're not trying to impress anyone in grade 7 anymore and hoping we fit into the clique and the gang. Um, okay, so uh Teresa said she was hoarding boxes and she was hoarding boxes until she decided it wasn't like she was never going to eat cereal again.
That's where I've been this week. I'm like, I have all this Amazon packaging, and I'm like, I don't need to keep all of it. I can just keep one small bit of it, and the rest can go. It's not like I'm not going to order from Amazon again. Sorry, Mariah, but I'm not. I mean, but I am.
I need to do a major thing too, because of course we see somebody, especially in the early days, we see somebody making a journal cover out of a box, and well, my goodness, better save this. Well, and then reality sets in, and you realize you can only make so many journals, time and effort wise. And yeah, they haven't stopped making those boxes. Um,
Yeah.
okay, so Denise says, my grandson is bringing me twigs, a piece or torn roofing from preschool. He says Nana can use this.
My son will give me his tea
No.
bags because he drinks tea and I don't. So if he doesn't do a latte, he'll be like, here.
Well, okay, yeah, it's never too early or too late to start indoctrinating some of the people around us. Um, okay. Yes, the enabling. Okay. Okay, she says, Teresa says, a really good piece of chipboard is a different story, though. And Trudy says, we are trying to save the planet. Nuts, rock, shiny things, sticks. Oh dear. So what consumes most of your time in the studio? Is it gel doing gel printing, designing stuff for PM Artist Studio, or making, as it were, finished products like journals and ephemera?
I think it depends on where I am because, like, right now I have a lot of things in a unfinished box. So if I notice the unfinished box, then I'm finishing ephemera. Um, yeah, I don't know. Anybody been watching me? You know what I've been doing? I don't even know what I've been doing. Like when I get lost in
Well,
the weeds
cleaning.
sometimes when I'm doing the collaborations and stuff. But yeah, right now it's cleaning. And right now my desk is, well, it's got some stuff on it right now, but it's more clean than it's been in my rooms more. And I want to play so hard. Full disclosure, all the stuff I've been taking upstairs to use, my husband helped me bring it all downstairs. So now my floor is covered again. I went through some of it already, sorting it. So I'm sorting all the stuff I've been taking upstairs, and I'm doing that off camera. Sorry, not sorry. Um, so yeah, my nice clean floor is not clean anymore.
I also think that you would not be a normal YouTuber and a normal crafter if there wasn't a certain degree of overflow out of the designated space. Like, I'm just saying, it is a bit insidious. Um, One thing that is probably working in your favor, though, is the fact that you said in a recent video that you don't do much with fabric. Although you did say you had more
But I
fabric
love
than you can
fabric. I
justify.
love the fabric. I love the way it looks. I do some stuff. I don't. Okay, I like to make covers like patchwork kind of covers, and then also use fabric. However else, it's just I have more fabric than I know I'll ever use, but I like to have options. And then of course I just purchased more fabric from Cheryl. So I don't know what's wrong with me. Can't help
The
myself.
same thing that the same thing that's wrong with all the rest of us. I think that we tend to be visual people, and it I don't know. Um, what's the feel good hormone? Is it serotonin?
Endorphins,
Yes, endorphins.
and
Um,
dopamine.
we get a rush, I think, from seeing and feeling beautiful things. So it should actually be a medical write-off, honestly. Wouldn't that be great? Okay, let's see what else people are
Not really, because you
saying.
only in America, your medical write-off if you're under 65 doesn't start till after at least 7.5% or 12.5%. So usually you can't write off much medical anyway.
Oh dear. Well, it's better than that in Canada. Eddie is saying it's like shoes. The more options, the better. Yeah. Um, so I think that we will begin winding down. I always give people the opportunity to say anything that, you kind of think, oh, I wish she would have asked me this, or I started to say this, I wanted to say that. And conversations have a way of getting away from us sometimes. So how do you want to end this? What do you want to maybe say to those who are struggling in one form or another, either with imposter syndrome or health issues or anything else?
I think pieces most on my mind right now is just the space around me and decluttering. I want to say, let go of what doesn't serve you, and use the special. Don't just let it sit there in a drawer. Use it. They say use the special china, wear the dress, wear the lingerie, use the vintage stuff that you bought, and don't be afraid. There's going to be more. If you really want more, you
Yeah.
can get more. So use it.
Yeah. I think you've said a mouthful there, and maybe one piece of paper at a time. Maybe it's starting to sink in. I did a video yesterday because, of course, my desk was a mess, and I had been watching you clean up, and I thought, well, I can certainly be cleaning up too. And I started that video. I don't think it's aired yet by saying I really don't like striped paper, especially if it's an ugly combination of colors. So why have I been thinking I deserve a medal of some sort for using up crap that well, I won't say the S word, but using up crap that I don't even like.
Well,
Why am I
meanwhile, the
not?
stuff you do like is sitting in a drawer because it's special. You can let it go,
Yeah,
donate it. It's okay to throw it away. It's let go of what it is you don't love anymore. Maybe you loved it once, but you don't
honestly.
now. It's okay to let it go.
Or
I'll
never
try not to
loved it at
sing
all, but thought, well, I spent good money, even if it was only a dollar or two at the thrift store.
because you
I
got it because
better,
it was on sale.
I better make a silk purse out of this sow's ear. And really, life's too short for that kind of activity.
Yeah, I was surprised one time. I did a video on focal points and I said, you want to start looking, you find stuff that you like. And that was like an eye opener for one lady. She's like, I've been using things because other people were using them. And she's like, you're right. I should be using things I like. And I was like, wow, I didn't know that would hit somebody so hard.
It is true, especially in the beginning, or until we kind of figure out what, you see, there are certain names and certain brands out there, and people are just like they become like disciples. They can only see that product, only see that style, and their whole thing is kind of hidden, even from themselves, because they're not allowing it to be exposed. Um, Teresa, who is again a very the kind of subby that everyone should have, um, set puts, I don't know if it's a dollar or what, into a jar every time I swear. And honestly, this is all cleaned up, so I don't even consider this swearing. But anyway, when I interviewed her a few weeks ago, she had a jar with a few 20s in it. So anyway, so she's saying, say it, Hazel, Mama needs craft money. Because the swear jar is her craft money. So anyway, it has been such a pleasure talking to you. I really encourage everyone who may not be familiar with your channel or your style, your approach, the things you do, um, to get over to the channel and check it out. Um, and if you want to because I think we'd have the artist's permission, if you want to embroider something like "It's fine, everything's fine"
Well, there's already a
on a
T-shirt that says "I'm fine, it's fine, everything's fine." I've just changed it slightly. I'm not. It's not my
oh,
original.
but your
It's
mantra.
just
So
pretty much.
and it is it's far better than picking a line that is beating up on us. Um, I'll just maybe end with a sign that I've had probably for 35 years, and I hope this is put on my headstone. A creative mess is better than tidy idleness. So, as opposed to, she kept a nice house, because there are those women that vacuum every day and don't
Not
and wouldn't
me.
know a dust bunny if they ever saw one. I want mine to be something about creativity.
Yeah, Barbara called me a chaotic creative, and I was good with that.
And as long as it's making you happy, we're not here to judge. No one is judging anybody because God knows we all have some stuff going on. Thank you so much, Darcy.
Thank
After
you for having me.
I don't know. Okay. So people are saying that it's been a pleasure getting to know you. Tomorrow, well, however, today, later today, tomorrow, you'll be able to share this video on your channel. So, you might want to do that
Okay.
too. So, um, oh, see, Mariah says fun time, Hazel, and love you, sis.
Yep, that was for
So
her.
this,
All of y'all, but especially for her.
anyway, and Eddie thinks you're a star, so we can end on that note because who doesn't want to be a star? Thank you so much. And guys,
Thank you, everybody.
we will just my own plug here. I do have my live sale tomorrow, and next week's guest is Sarah from New England Junk Journals. So anyway, thank you so much. And I hope that your health continues to allow you to create
Thank
for
you.
a long, long time.
Thank you.
Okay, bye bye.
Hi, everybody.